The time finally comes to flip the script. So why does it sound the same once again? Welcome to Everyone Does Music, where today we're looking at the 11th studio album from American Christian rock band Skillet called Dominion. I've been listening to the band off and on ever since middle school. Me discovered their vital singles Comatose and Rebirthing. From there, I was hooked, whether it was emotional moments like The Older I Get, or tracks with more adrenaline like Circus for the Psycho or Back from the Dead. As I got older though, I kind of came to the realization that a lot of other people came to a certain point where it's like, hey, this one sounds like this song, this one sounds like that one, The Circle, the Ouroboros, what the fuck? Comatose was a fantastic album, and it felt like the band was constantly trying to recreate that same fire and same success every time around. Rise felt like another Comatose. Wake felt like another Comatose. Back from the Dead, it felt a little more risey, but still felt like another Comatose. Sorry, Unleashed, not Back from the Dead. It shows you how much I remember from Unleashed. Steadily releasing an album every couple of years, it became apparent over the years that every album up until now was following a very strict formula. You got one super powered song such as Monster, Feel Invincible, or Rise, and then supplemented by tracks that did just well enough to keep the band within talking spaces, just to keep the band being talked about in general. And every single time that the new album came around, like I said, it just felt like Comatose Part 6, Comatose over and over. I'm about to go comatose from saying that word so much. Comatose, the album. And eventually got to a certain point where with their most recent album, Victorious, I just kind of sat there and I was like, you know what? I listened to it once, I'm not coming back to it. I've had enough. And I will faithfully say that Victorious is their worst album, purely because it was the final straw. And all right, we get it. You're trying to do another Comatose, and maybe they can sit there and say, oh yeah, we're not doing that. We're trying to create something individual and different. But it sure didn't fucking sound like that. But I heard Dominion was coming out, and I had close to no hope for this album. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. But then I realized, hey, I'm a music reviewer now. And then I realized, these guys used to be my jam back in middle school. Maybe I'll just give them one more go, one more solid college try. So what did I come away with in terms of thoughts? I was a little surprised and welcomingly humbled to find out Skillet, they kind of have finally found themselves an individual and unique sound amongst a very samey catalog. The track that stood out to me initially was Valley of Death, serving as the half somber, half powerful track to sort of add in some early variety among other tracks like Surviving the Game and the title track Dominion. This song accomplishes the very hard-driven concepts the band has established for themselves with a very satisfying flourish all the same. At the end of the day, especially being so many albums deep, Skillet's music will sound similar to another song in one way or another, whether it's the most unique release they've ever done in their life or the most not so diverse album in their life. But I can say with confidence, this is the freshest a song like this has felt in ages, especially in terms of the sort of middle ground power ballad that they tend to do every single album. Looking at the lyrics, and I could just be reading a little too much into these lyrics, we're even getting some possible hints towards lead singer John Cooper questioning his faith. Or at least that's what feels like it's coming across as in the lyrics here. Just let's listen to this. The lead up to the chorus goes as follows. Someone said that this is all part of a plan, but I don't understand it. Of course, the chorus kicks in and he reaffirms himself. I'm a soldier of God, the usual. He's standing as a proud Christian, cut and dry as usual, as per the norm, but even having a quick little line like that is a welcome addition to what is a very tired formula that they have employed. Usually it's John and the rest of the band fighting against some invisible force, some unidentified monster enemy, and they've got an army behind them. But this time, and again, I might be reading a little too much into it, but it feels like that solid, actual, visible, and palpable enemy here, again, is questioning his own faith or questioning his belief, or maybe just questioning his current place and where he's at. It's a damn near direct take in opposition. And this, again, is perhaps self-belief driven and a very surprised thing from a band that will pretty much just staple a fake tattoo on their forehead that says, boy howdy do I sure love God. The lyricism doesn't go insanely deep beyond base values, but it's not what you come to a Skillet LP for. You come in expecting certain things and receiving them in equal measure. Fortunately, however, once again in typical Skillet fashion, this brief glimpse of new intentions and new vibes seem to melt away and reveal that same skeleton underneath the bones, meat, and general soup. And that happens in the very next song on the track list. Beyond Incredible is a song that represents the very problem with Skillet's current state. What is that problem, boys and girls? Let's get a drum roll. a complete lack of any fresh ideas. Coming off of a track that felt like it was trying to add a new layer to the same old, we get a song that feels like something we've heard numerous times over and over. Basic lyrics that do nothing to influence your imagination or make you think about anything besides the fact that, yeah, Skillet. It serves as a song that sounds large and grand specifically because of how John sings and how Corey Cooper plays her guitars and how the overall song structure is made. It's made to sound like something larger than life, something fantastic, so much larger than life, when in reality it's just them putting out a big sound with not a real feelable emotion behind it. They're putting a lot of emotion into it. You can tell that they really truly have this firm belief that they are in the zone right now, but as a listener, I'm not really getting that. Even as a critic or as a fan of the band or a former fan of the band, I just can't sit there and say, yeah, I'm feeling as hype as you are. I don't really get that. I'll admit, the three of them together, there's an undeniable chemistry, especially with the way that they both supplement John's voice in a way that, again, almost makes him actually sound larger than life. But even with that chemistry and intent, it's impossible to compliment an album like this without recognizing the fact that so far at this point in the album, and especially with this kind of song, this song and a large majority of the album sounds the same fucking thing that we've heard time and time again. Like, for every positive, there's two more negatives. It's ridiculous, really. For every one single moment that feels like it's a jump towards a new yard, there's a fluid backflip back into the yard we were just in. And I hate talking on albums like this because I look like an asshole. I sound like an asshole. Am I an asshole? Possibly. But that's not what I'm trying to intend here. But when I feel like when I negatively critique an album like this, that the overall thing that a listener, or God forbid, the band themselves might feel from this is just, I'm just being an asshole for the sake of it. I'm not trying to be. This is how I genuinely feel and what I genuinely think is a probably very widely accepted opinion about this. Destiny and Refuge might as well just be B-sides to an EP that they've done previously, or just victorious B-sides. They've heard those same things over and over again. There's a line of songs on Dominion that include those that just make you realize how long this album is. Coming in at an almost dreadful 45 minutes. It's more than possible to make an album past a half hour, past a full hour, and feel like no time at all. I mean, there's an album that came out by the band Fit for an Autopsy that hits at, I think, getting very close to 40 minutes. Listening to that album with how much work they put into making songs sound individual, not only from others on the album, but from the rest of their discography, it feels like no time at all. This is Skillet. They've been around since the late 90s, the early 2000s. They've been around for the entirety of the 2010s, and they're still struggling to make an album that keeps the listener entertained and enthralled throughout the course of it. Let's back up. Let's speak about some positive things here, to avoid this becoming just a straight up slander review. I can name 3 songs that feel worth coming back to on this entire album. Title track Dominion, Ignite, and White Horse. Dominion is your typical, we don't got a target, but we're getting the army together and we're going to war song. But there's enough of an innate catchiness within it to make it bearable, listenable, and even to me, with how negatively I've been about certain parts of this album, one that I go back to every now and then, because I'm like, all right, yeah, fuck it. I want to fucking bop my head while John Cooper goes, Dominion, Dominion. This is the same type of catchiness I found in songs like Feel Invincible, Hero. It's one that kept me going back to those songs and probably will keep me coming back to this one. And then you have Ignite, which captures similar feelings with more of a focus on a constant thumping guitar track. It gave me something to finally, truly, really just vibe to while I was listening to it. I wasn't sitting there stock still like, all right, okay, let's write down part of that. I was actually sitting there and being like, okay, I can listen to this. I can replay it. I can come back to it. It's worth coming back to. Ignite captures a lot of the similar things, but does it in a better way than the less impressive songs, especially such as Destroyer, Refuge, and others do. It makes it worth talking about. That leaves one song, truly the best song from this album, the utterly impressive White Horse, which to me should have been a lead single before Surviving the Game and even before the title track. This song is probably the most enjoyable Skillet has sounded in over half a decade, fusing a lot of keyboard work in the background of the song along with John Cooper using every part of his vocal abilities to create a truly wonderful soundscape. You have his subdued sort of like singing like this and talking like this thing. You have his, you have every fucking thing that I can very painfully recreate here in this review. And yeah, it's his typical grandstanding and I'm the big cheese, but it actually feels worthy of this song. The song actually feels like it fits that overall always bigger, badder persona that he seems to give off, whether intentionally or unintentionally. This is what the band should be doing on modern albums, sticking true to their lyricism and concepts that they've established and leaning into what they are. They're a Christian hard rock band. I'm most certainly not a Christian, but I could feel the intended power behind phrases like, do you want peace or war when heaven's force comes riding on a white horse? Or even the ever so slightly cringy but still strong proclamation of, didn't you hear the words of the prophet? You should have known. I've got the words of God in my mouth. This type of thing is very 2000s. It's very almost dad rock, but fuck it. This is the type of thing Skillet should be doing. They've been in the game for so long, and some bands, they can continue evolving, they continue doing new things. Like, look at aMess. They've been around for damn near 2 decades, and they're still doing new things. But Skillet, I think they're honestly their best when they're just doing things they've done before and looking at it like, yeah, run it back. But usually when they run it back, it's not as good as it should be. Overall, I feel like Dominion is 1000% what Skillet should have been doing for the last 3 albums, but hasn't been able to do, but still holds a lot of the negative things that plague the band album after album, time after time, ever since the 2006 breakout. With detriments far outweighing the positive moments, this makes the album feel like another unfortunate addition to the band's own unintentional creation. Mediocre, comatose core. But who knows, maybe this is a step in the right direction. Maybe the next album, called something like, I don't fucking know, Genesis or something, maybe this is going to be the best parts of Dominion 10 times over. Maybe this is going to be a whole album that feels like the best parts of this album, just done up better, done up more. But that's a lot of hope, and I had hope for Victorious, and I can't fucking get over how bad Victorious was. I'm sorry, but fuck. For these reasons, both positive, negative, mostly negative, Dominion by Skillet gets a 6.7 out of 10. And that's a review. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Did you enjoy the review? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? You want to fight me? You got the words of God in your mouth? Let me know down in the comments section below. Let's get a conversation going. Have a great day. Stay hydrated. I'll see you next time.